is one of the most exciting fighters on the UFC roster. He's coming off the fight of the year against Justin Gaethje. We flew him all the way from Nashville, Tennessee. It's Michael Chandler on today's Food Truck Diaries, and I'm feeding him breakfast burritos. Let's go.
Make it thick, super thick. From my wallet to my check. I don't want it if it's skinny, but I need it if it's thick. Need a thick girl for the thick boy. I need everything I get, super thick boy. You ready? Used to have a model bitch, now I got a thick one. Yeah, I do. Last night went late, yeah, we had a sick one. Got very drunk. Yeah, and I like options. I don't
So
like.
Mike Chandler,
What's up, bro?
what's up, brother?
I'm living the dream.
You're looking good, man.
Trying.
Look at you out here in these California sun,
I know,
dude.
man. It's beautiful. Just drove through the canyon. Man. It's beautiful.
Nice,
out here.
right?
It is.
Came from
Yeah.
Santa Monica.
Came from Santa Monica
Dude.
via Nashville.
Dude, I mean, are we fighting next week?
That's what we're trying to
you look insanely in shape.
I'm trying to be in shape. I mean, I try not to get out of shape, as you know, everybody knows.
Yeah.
The further you get out of shape, the harder it is to get back into shape. So
Yep.
I try to stay in. I mean, obviously, last fight was a banger, so I limped,
I mean, there's
limped around.
still. I mean, I guess
Oh,
you
I
got a
got
little
some-
up there.
Yeah, I had a couple sets of stitches.
But you're up-
stitches in my mouth.
Oh, really? Your mouth was all
And then
jacked up?
obviously took a bunch of leg kicks,
Yep.
landed a bunch of leg kicks. So like legs were a little beat up. For
Yeah, we'll get into
a
the game
while.
plan after we eat. I'll give that game plan. But
I'm not sure there was one.
yeah, I know. I tell you, the game plan was entertaining.
It was entertaining.
Yeah,
It was
which
fun.
I think won you more fans than anything.
Yeah.
But you're fully healed. Everything's all good.
Fully healed, man. I feel great. It really is a blessing, man. I've been doing it this long and not having a lot of injuries after some of the wars I've been in has been pretty good. It's a testament to recovery and treating my body right, obviously. But it's
Agree, being a professional,
Trying
like
to.
making sure you do the proper things to recover.
Trying to.
So as far as timeline, next fight, what are we thinking?
sometime this summer. I always said, obviously, when I was limping around after the last one, I wanted to wait till this summer. So we'll see. I mean, they're talking May possibly. No contracts yet, no bout agreements. So
No
we'll
contract, no bout agreements, but rumor Tony Ferguson.
Rumor is Tony Ferguson. I
which
think
is an electrifying fight.
It's an electrifying fight. I think and we kind of have some history too because we shared a card back in May.
Sure.
That was when the Dana White privilege was born,
that's
right?
right.
So,
Hilarious.
and Tony's the guy, man. He's one of the most decorated guys in the
You
the
got to
division.
respect him.
Respect
I
him
mean,
a
you're
ton.
talking legend.
Yeah,
Legend.
and if you look at his body of work, the guys he's
yeah.
beat, and the
Phenomenal.
way that he's beat guys, and then he's still a very dangerous guy, scary guy, a little crazy. He's got to screw loose, which makes for a fun fight.
Agree. And I hope that fight happens. I hope he gets announced soon. And I do think with Tony too, like when he was in his prime, when you're talking prime Tony, when he's like 9 in a row,
Yeah.
to me, him or Khabib, there's argument as far as best 155ers walking the freaking planet.
100%, and it's crazy and unfortunate that fight never materialized. But it was booked like 4 or 5 times.
Insane.
But I think what Tony brings to the table back then during that 12-fight win streak, and also even now, he's unorthodox. You can't put him out unless you absolutely put him out. You need to separate him from consciousness, as we've seen. And he's just, to me, when I look at it as an athlete, it's a little bit of a hard guy to prepare for because there is no other style like Tony Ferguson. There is
it's almost
no
like
other
a
guy.
Wonder Boy or something where they have that weird style. We can try to bring guys in to mimic
Yes.
that style, but you're not going to find you don't get a vibe of Tony till you're inside the octagon.
100%.
And it's tough to figure it out, man.
For sure, and even when you're watching it as a fan or me as a fellow competitor in the same
Yep.
weight class, you're just like,
awkward.
because it's awkward,
It's
and so much of this sport too isn't just the physicality of it; it's the mental aspect. And so
100%.
whenever he's reaching down and throwing up sand, or
Especially
he's
at your level.
spinning and
Especially
doing,
at your level.
yeah, and that was part of the same thing with the Gaethje fight. There was a little bit of gamesmanship / the mental side of things.
Ooh, I can't wait to get into
going
that.
on inside of there. Then there was just the physicality, the
100%,
punches and the kicks.
especially in that fight.
Yeah,
so we're gonna get to that, but you probably don't fight to May. So do you eat breakfast, or are you one of
I
those
do.
guys? Okay,
Well, I mean, I eat breakfast here at the.
thanks, man.
Food Truck
I mean, I'm on a
Diaries,
diet too, so it might be weird. But let me feed you.
Let's do
We'll
it.
continue this. Let's
Love
do
it.
it.
Do you know what you want?
Yeah, I'll order first if you want.
Steak and eggs.
How you
these are
doing,
all
boss?
burritos. Oh, yeah.
I'm great, man. Yeah, thanks for doing this, man. I'm excited. This looks like a legit truck. You're way
I'm
up
telling
there.
him that my son's a Marine right now, and he literally went into the Marine Corps to work on his MMA skills.
Oh,
Yes.
damn.
He's kind of a like
The Mick map.
Yeah, look,
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they have the training program.
Oh, they
Yeah.
do? They have MMA training program?
Yeah, I think it's called McMap, right?
Right.
Marine office or something
Oh,
like that.
damn.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah, they have
so he
the
doesn't even
training
know
deal.
where right now. He's at 29 pounds right now training. So
Oh,
he's
damn.
like,
Tell him we
"Hey,
said what's up,
I
man.
will,
Yeah, we'll send him a video or something
That
after
would be
this.
awesome.
Yeah, no
he's-
problem.
But I appreciate you guys having us.
Yeah,
Of course,
thanks for doing
man.
this. Can I do the steak and eggs, but no French fries or cheese?
Dang, dude.
Yep, no fries, no cheese.
So I should have went first.
No fries, no cheese.
I think that's what I'm gonna do.
Do it, dude.
Now I just
You
look
do
like a
it,
follower.
man. Yeah.
Because you gotta have steak
I'm
and
on
eggs.
that carnivore shit.
I know.
I eat like a big cat at the zoo, son.
I'll do the steak and eggs as well.
Okay.
No French fries, no cheese, and I'll do scrambled eggs.
Okay. You guys want orange juice, water, coffee?
I'll do a water.
I'll do a coffee. You have Diet Coke too?
No, Diet Coke.
Yeah, it's weird. Just a
It's all about
coffee.
calories here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Just coffee then for me.
Got it.
Yeah.
2 coffees?
Actually, I'll do a coffee as well.
Okay.
And then you have some salsa on the side or
Yeah, sure. We'll
Hot
put
sauce.
everything on the side.
Perfect.
Yeah,
The sauce
perfect.
is on the side. We'll cut it on the pies for you guys. You don't fuss with it too much.
Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that. And we got mini donuts too. We'll send some over and try it.
Yeah, might as well put
Might
them
have to
out
try
there.
those.
Might as well
Might
put them
have to
out
try
there,
those. Yeah, put 'em out
man.
We'll take care of the crew.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you got it.
Thank you. Little mini donuts coming out of the truck, man.
No, dude. Let's take a little break from stuffing our faces with the great Michael Chandler. Because listen, I got something to tell you, man. A lot of y'all don't want to go to the gym right now. You're looking for a new, fresh workout. I got you. I've been a member for 5 years now. We're talking about Peloton. Peloton is pushing you further with so much. They even got new stuff with their Peloton bikes, Bikes Plus, new classes, new music, new ways to keep your workouts fun, motivating, all right? And now the new stuff is what I'm excited to tell you about. They got boxing. That's right, Peloton boxing. Peloton is stepping into the ring with its newest discipline. No gloves needed. It's fast, it's furious, it's fun. Peloton instructors are in your corner to get you a workout that you're going to love. They got new artists, music selections. Peloton's adding fun new artist series classes. Work out the music of a single artist for an entire class, from your favorite hits to the deep cuts. We're talking pop, rock, hip hop, EDM. They have over 100 artist series to choose from, so you never get bored with your workout, man. You get a great workout in, all right? They got daily workout varieties. It's easier to stick to your workout when you mix it up. You don't want to get bored of the same stuff every time, man. All right? They got 20 minutes of cardio. How about a quick 15-minute total body class before you head to work? Why not? Get your thick body in shape, man. Stay motivated while having fun with a bike that works out. You can do yoga, meditation, dance, cardio, boxing. What are you waiting for, man? Let's get in shape. It's 2022. Visit onepeloton.com to learn more. That's onepeloton.com. OnePeloton.com. One Peloton. All right, my man. Let's dig on in. I didn't read the fine print. I didn't know it was a burrito.
Oh,
I know.
burrito truck.
Dude, you're right. When you're right, you're right. So I can't have that tortilla. So you unwrap that. Yeah, man. You know, I think what's interesting about you is, you know, finally you're in the UFC. I feel like you're more famous than ever. You know, your losses, you've gained more notoriety, more fans. You haven't. It didn't hurt you. Does that make sense?
No,
Like you're in
for
a
sure.
weird situation where, yeah, you have lost your last two, but you've won so many people over, and I think now you've won the trust of the UFC, which is huge.
Yeah.
And then also you got thrown to the wolves, man. You know, you got Dan Hooker, which a ridiculous fight, great knockout, one of the best knockouts of the year. And then, you know, you get Charles Oliveira, where you got first round 10-8. To me, 10-8 round.
Yeah.
So clearly, you know, you're at that level. And then you get the Justin Gaethje fight, which is, you know, fight of the year. So, you know, it's tough to look at and go, man, he made the wrong choice going to the UFC. It's like, no. Don't let the record fool you, man. This guy's crushing it.
Yeah, well, and that's truthfully what I asked for. I mean, I sat there in Hunter Campbell's office, and I told him, I said, hey, man, at that point I was 34 years old, still very young in the sport for being 34, and I said, hey, I want to come in and either prove I am who I say I am or I'm not. I want a top 5 guy right away, and
let's get going.
And it wasn't because I thought I deserved, because I think that was what a lot of people thought too. Well, hey, who's this guy think he is coming in and calling shots? I wasn't calling shots. Let me go in there and fall flat on my face, go 0-2, and you guys cut me.
Correct.
I'll be able to live with that.
Yeah.
Because that means I wasn't good enough. So obviously came in. Tony Ferguson was the first name on the list. Poirier was the second name. They both said no for legitimate reasons. I would never hold that against them. These guys have cut their teeth in the UFC for a decade. I'm a new guy coming in. Everybody had a lot to lose, not a lot to gain.
Stacked division too.
Stacked division, exactly. So Dan Hooker said yes, and then we went to Abu Dhabi and did that. Before that I was the backup, and I think that's what.
What an intro to the UFC.
Well,
that knockout was insane.
Yeah, I mean it was good, and it worked out. I mean, obviously it worked out really well. And then it was just, if you just look at the whole thing too, there was just some interesting circumstances, because did I deserve the title shot after that win? No. But you had,
I disagree
not necessarily,
with that.
But you had Poirier and Conor.
I disagree with that, because I think, we live in a time right now where it's like we're not in normal times, and you look at your body of work outside of the UFC and Bellator, you're talking about face of Bellator, world champion, and so it's like you were doing work just in a different way. So, when I saw guys complain, especially, I love Justin Gaethje. He was a training partner of mine for many years, and we have the same coach. I absolutely love Justin Gaethje. He's a phenomenal fighter. But when he was like, this guy needs to earn it, I'm like, bro, you came from World Series of Fight. Like, it's the same shit, and now you're going to...
Well, and it was actually, I don't think I've ever brought this up on camera or in an interview, but it was the exact same path. He came in and fought Michael Johnson, who was number 5 in the world right away. I fought Dan Hooker, who was number 5 in the world right away. We both win. Then he fights Eddie Alvarez, which would have given him a title shot, because Eddie had just come off of the loss of winning the world title. He was number 2 in the world at that point. So if he beat, he would have, he lost to Conor. Eddie did. But if Gaethje would have beat Alvarez, he would have had the next title shot. So maybe I got a title shot one fight before Gaethje did. But it was also a different division. The division is always moving, and it's the fastest moving sport in the entire world. Things change at the drop of a hat. So, and it also just is a testament to, I sat there and I looked across the table at Hunter Campbell. I said, I want to be the guy who comes in and does and says yes to every opportunity, and that's exactly what I did. I said, nobody else would have been the backup and made weight and went to all the, and then I said yes to Dan Hooker, and I said yes. I've said yes since the very beginning, and as an employee, as someone on a roster, under a contract, in any walk of life, any industry, the person who works the hardest and says yes and puts their best foot forward should be rewarded, and that's the way I see it.
Agreed.
So just part of it.
And I think too, would you have changed anything? When you're looking back on it, again, you're 1-2, but you've won the fans over, and then also you've won the trust of the UFC. So for the UFC to know, if they put you on a card, you're looking at a performance bonus. The guy's not going to just hold a guy down and and wrestle him to get the win. Like, he's there to win the fans over. So that's huge. Would you have changed anything? Because I'll be dead honest with you. With the Justin Gaethje fight, I was like, Chandler can fucking wrestle, man. Let's get after it. Let's do this. Let's shoot that blast double, your signature blast double. Let's get this dude down. And you're like, nah, I'm good.
Would I have changed anything about my game plan in the Gaethje fight, you're saying, or
Gaethje
or
fight,
would I have taken the fight?
I would say in general, because you came out like a freaking banshee, man. You starch Hooker, you go out there and you really 10-8 round against Charles Oliveira. If that fight goes, that first round goes another 30 seconds, probably stop. You're the world champ. We're talking about a different conversation right now. So, I guess, because I would say you've kind of come to your own, and you're this electrifying, like, exciting fighter now. I don't know if I would say, don't get me wrong, you're exciting in Bellator, but you're a different animal now. Yeah. But you are 1-2. Would you change anything?
I think,
even though you're a fan favorite, it's like a double-edged.
It's a double-edged sword, and it's hard to. I mean, you are who you are to a certain extent. When I look back and I look at the fight, numerous fights. I mean, there's been numerous times in the past where it's bit me, and I, if I was a little bit more methodical, a little bit more patient, a little bit more of a veteran, maybe I would have won a couple of the fights that I've lost. But at some point, too, you just are who you are. You know, when that cage door closes, I want to get in your face right away because, once again, we go back to the mental aspect of the sport. You can only pour it on a guy for so long where he either breaks or he stands up to the challenge, and then you got a fight on your hands. That's what happened with Justin Gaethje. That's what happened with Charles Oliveira.
Which I was surprised. He has that, history of it. And I know people like, oh, I can't believe you bring that up. It's like, well, we bring it up for a reason. Like we've seen him quit in fights before, and a person can adapt and change. But to me, if that quit gene's in there, it's gonna come out. It might not come out in the first round like it used to, or the second round. But in championship fights, it come out in the fourth or fifth. Like that gene's in there. If you're fighting a guy like you who has no quit, and your mentality is to break this dude, I'll take those odds, man.
Yeah, no, and that's where I've said I think Charles Oliveira has surprised a lot of people with the way that he's now come on as the champion, and then finishing Dustin Poirier, and then with each one of those wins, whether it's for the title, you're the champion or not, each one of those wins inside the UFC, you gain more and more confidence, or at least you should, as long as you have the right people around you, the right training scenario, and you're taking care of your body. But the way he has continued to gain steam is it's something to behold, and it's really cool. And the great thing too now is you got Gaethje and Oliveira fighting each other. I think a lot of people would want to see a rematch of myself versus either of those guys. So I've kind of put myself in a position where who knows what happens with a win over Tony Ferguson. I don't know if I got to fight 2 more fights, 3 more fights to get back at the title, or if I get a title shot after that. I don't know. All I can do is train, show up, do my job, say yes to every opportunity, and see where the cards fall.
Do you feel any pressure now to be that guy, to get the performance of the night, the fight, another fight of the year type of vibe? Like with Tony, if that fight does come to fruition, like with Tony, like that has fight of the year written all over it.
No, I don't actually. Well, I don't feel that pressure because I know who I am, and I know that I'm capable of that without even trying to, without even putting any pressure on myself. I think in this sport, the mental side of things, people try to put that pressure on themselves to change who they are, to get themselves up to be that guy.
Yep.
Unfortunately, at some time, fortunately, but unfortunately too, I am that guy. I love to go in there and brawl. I have no fears whatsoever when I'm inside of there. I want to get in the fire. I want to get into the fight, a legitimate fight.
Yeah,
I think. And I do, and I think that's what I said too, and I gave props to Justin Gaethje. We are who we said we were.
Yep.
And we did what we said we were going to do. I mean, how many times in this sport have you seen guys talk and talk and talk just to go out there and play it safe, take backward steps?
Agree.
Not go out there and really try to get into, and I'm not saying you have to go out there and brawl, but go out there with an indomitable spirit that you're not going to take a step backwards, and in the face of adversity, you're not going to quit. When you go back to your stool, you're going to regain your faculties, go back out there and try to finish the fight. I know that about myself. I can trust myself when I'm in there, and I think that's one of the most beautiful things whenever you know you can trust yourself in any scenario. If you can't trust yourself, how are you ever going to truly believe that you're going to be successful? So I don't feel any kind of extra pressure. It's just ingrained in me, which is not always a great thing.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
It's been fun to watch, man. It's been fun to watch. I think the Tony Ferguson fight, for me, makes so much sense. I think the fans will be pretty excited about it. It seems like Tony's up for the challenge.
Yeah, we've talked a little bit.
There's been a lot of guys who, you've been in the news with Conor McGregor, right? Like Conor seems to be, he'll be your Huckleberry, I think, especially if you put on a big performance against Tony Ferguson, fighting for the title, fighting Justin Gaethje, who's fighting for the title, a big win over Tony Ferguson, who's a huge name in the division. I know they say, Conor might get a title shot right away. I don't think so. I don't think that's the way they're going to work. So I could definitely see them giving you a Conor McGregor, which you're talking life-changing money.
Yeah.
To me, and Dustin Poirier said it best. He's like, man, I fight for money.
Yeah.
So when they offered me the title or Conor McGregor, I said Conor McGregor. And obviously paid off for him. I think same thing with you, man.
Yeah, I think, me and Conor have talked on Twitter, and there's been a mutual respect. I mean, for me, I don't need to hate a guy to go out there and try to kill him, And I do love that about my mentality. It works well for me. But I think a win over Tony Ferguson does put me in that talk, and I'll be ready. If Conor wants to come back in July, August, I'll turn around right away.
That's
and
what he's
fight
saying,
him
right? Summer.
Fight him late this summer. I think, I think Diaz really is the wild card. Did he re-sign a new deal yet?
I don't know.
There's
no news on it, right? I
haven't heard any news yet either. So I think he's kind of the wild card. Obviously, you have Poirier and Diaz talking to each other.
Which makes sense to me.
Which, yeah, that fight does make sense. But obviously,
fight.
I think the biggest fight that the UFC can make is Conor versus Diaz, right?
Yeah. Those two aren't like Nate Diaz is never going to be able to leave the UFC without doing the trilogy fight.
And
to me, like, I think the UFC knows that fight's always there, so they're trying to drain as much out of the Irishman as they can, and then finally go, all right, here's the trilogy fight, because we all want to see it.
Yeah, and if anybody could come right back and skip the line and fight for the title, it would be Conor, obviously.
That's how it works.
But like you said, I don't see that happening. So am I on that short list of guys that he would come back and fight?
100%.
Maybe. And for me, obviously, yeah, you talk about life-changing money. You talk about it's a great business decision. But for me, I think I spent so many years outside of the UFC feeling like I was just undervalued, or I was I don't want to say appreciated, because I felt appreciated. Yeah. Well, yeah, by the fans, just because there wasn't as much of a multitude of eyeballs on me. I was putting on these performances, and I was training. I mean, the hardest part too was training around all these guys who were getting all this credit and getting all this.
Because they're in the UFC.
Yeah, because they were in the UFC, and I saw the way that they lived their lives. I saw the way that they trained. I saw the way that they conducted themselves as an athlete, and I saw the way that I did it, and I thought I'm by no means perfect, but I was as professional as you could possibly
be. You're a different animal. Yeah, you're
and I felt like now coming into the UFC, I want the biggest fights, and that doesn't come without saying yes. I said yes to every opportunity, obviously. So the Conor fight intrigues me because it's a big fight. There's nothing bigger than that. So of course, the money is great, and the paycheck and the business side of things, but for me, getting to share the octagon with him as part of my latter part of my career, that's what excites me.
Agreed.
Having these big stages, big moments, big opportunities. That's what you want as an
Which
athlete.
you've gotten. I mean, you think about it. Hooker,
Yeah.
freaking, fighting for the title against Charles Oliveira, the Justin Gaethje. If the Ferguson fight does happen, the freaking Conor, it's like, yeah, this guy made the right choice coming over to UFC. Man.
Yeah.
You're talking about literally the biggest names in the division.
Yeah.
That's why you came over for.
Yeah, and 100% too. I mean, I do remember when I was thinking about making the decision: do I re-sign with Bellator, or do I go to the UFC? Obviously, the intrigue of the UFC was it was where I knew I needed to go if I wanted to check that box too of the 40-year-old me. Was I going to be able to sleep at night knowing that in my career I never went to the UFC to go test myself? Some people will say I went too late. Some people will say I never should have went. Most people would say it's worked out
Whoever
pretty darn
says
well.
you shouldn't have went is a moron.
Yeah, it's worked out. It's worked
It's like
out.
being the best quarterback in CFL and be like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Man. It's like, well, the NFL, give you a shot, man. And they don't go. But I'm not,
So it's worked out
I'm
well.
not degrading Bellator, but the elephant's in the room. The UFC is the NFL of mixed martial arts. I'll end on this. Looking at the matchups, Tony Ferguson, Conor McGregor, which one do you think is easier path to victory for you? Would it be Tony? Because you're talking about two completely different animals, right? Like Conor, you're not going to have to worry about grappling or anything like that. Obviously, stand-up's ridiculous. But he is, we don't know where he's at mentally.
Yeah.
He looks great on social media. He's jacked, super jacked. He has his dick all in my face. He was like doing a pull-up, and like, all right, dude. But which I'm a Conor dick rider. So I want to see him come back and do well. But then with Tony, it's like you have this guy, he's coming off a few losses, but he's still a fan favorite, and there's something that's intriguing about him, and you can't really train for him or plan for him. So you're talking about two different flavors here.
Yeah.
Is there one where obviously let's take money out of it, notoriety. Is there one that would be the easier path to get you to a title shot, you think?
To get to the title shot, I don't know. I think they're both kind of similar. Obviously, you got Conor coming back, and you got Tony, who's got a couple losses, but I have a couple losses. Everybody has losses in the UFC.
You're not fighting tough enough guys if you're undefeated.
Exactly right. I think Tony might be a tougher puzzle to solve, just because inside he's less predictable. Not that Conor is predictable; he's a phenomenal athlete, but what you see with Conor is a lot of times what you get, and it's
Yes.
it's a hard puzzle to solve. But once it's much less predictable, or it's much more predictable. And I think Tony just brings that. He brings that little bit of uncertainty at all times.
His
in every
jiu-jitsu's
single
unorthodox. You know, his Darce chokes, his anacondas. He's hitting from all these angles.
Plus his cardio, he never slows down.
He gets better as the fight goes on.
Exactly.
His cardio doesn't slow down. He's an absolute freaking warrior. You know, his face. You take him down, you have issues with his elbows and shit. It's like Tony's a tough.
He is, which it excites me too, because those are the kind of fights, and I hate to sit here and act like fighting Conor wouldn't make me wake up earlier or keep me up at night. Obviously that would, but there's something about the craziness of Tony that
Tony
is
to me is the
intriguing.
boogeyman of the division.
He still is. He's still the boogeyman.
Yeah.
And that's what I've said too. I mean, back when I was calling him out trying to fight him, which the timeline didn't work out last time. He wanted to fight me like 3 weeks after the Abu Dhabi fight or whatever.
Yeah.
So he still is one of the scariest guys in the division. Justin Gaethje was one of the scariest guys in the division. So it's nice to come in and have these crazy. I mean, it's even just an experience for myself for me to grow as a human being.
Yeah,
being thrown into these fires, being thrown into these places where people watch and they say, "Man, that's a crazy scenario. Let's see how he comes out." And so far, have I lost fights? Absolutely, but I've grown as a human being. I'm happy with my career. I'm happy with where I'm at. I'm happy with where my life is and how it is. So.
But look what we're talking
keep on
about.
pushing myself.
Yeah, you actually made the right choice, man. Look, we're talking about Conor McGregor, Tony Ferguson, major pay-per-views. Like, clearly it's worked out, man.
It's working out well. So I'm.
Well, I'm rooting for you, man.
Thank you,
I'm
bro.
rooting for you.
Appreciate it.
You kind of touched
I'm
your
starting.
burrito.
I'm starting.
All right.
Good
you eat
conversations.
after. Yeah, that's what we do, man.
We'll smash this after.
We're going to crush all this food. Yeah. But before you go, I do a segment where I give every fighter that comes on the show some kicks from my boys at Suplex in Philly. These are for you. You got fashion on you. I couldn't.
Let's go.
You're a legend, man. These are legendary shoes. They're my favorite silhouette of all time. It's the Jordan 1s. But they are Missouri Tiger colors.
Bro,
throwback for you.
Oh, yes.
And then my boy said, Mr. Chandler, please wear these and enjoy these. The Pollen Jordan 1s from Suplex, Philadelphia.
Dude, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Black and gold, baby.
Little Missouri Tiger vibes,
Dude,
Doug.
you were the man. That's so sick.
Wear those, man.
I will. Dude.
So enjoy the kicks, man. I can't wait for your next fight. We got to get you on a Calabas Fight Companion after your next fight.
Let's go. Right
We'll
here.
do it. Michael Chandler, ladies and gentlemen.
Make it big, super thick. From my wallet to my check. I don't want it if it's skinny, but I need it if it's thick. Need a thick girl for the thick boy. I need everything I get, super thick boy.